The market is getting absolutely decimated. All cryptocurrencies are down, some are more down than others. Trump, the official Trump token, is one of the tokens that are down the most. Now, does it make sense to buy this bottom? Because in the end, crypto is all about buying low and selling high. And obviously, we are currently not high, we are rather low. So is this an opportunity? At first glance, it looks pretty enticing. This is the official Trump chart, and we are very close to a bottom that had been formed 2 days ago on the 25th of January. But then comes always the question, right? We also saw similar bottoms before. Had you bought on the 24th because of the bottom on the 21st, you'd still be down 20%. It's all about timing, right? It's all about being early. It's about buying during times like this when the Trump token was still at $13. This is when I made the first video on the asset, and that video performed pretty well. It got 8.2 times the views of a regular video on this channel. So if you want to be early next time, feel free to subscribe over here, right? I publish videos regularly on various meme coins. Now it seems like we are already very low, right? We have fallen 66% from the all-time high. Or how much more can we really fall when we've already come down that much? But then we have to remind ourselves. Here's the Melania token that was launched just 1 day after the Trump token, and that's down more than 80% already. Let's go back to the official Trump token. So here are the number of holders. In total, there are more than 700,011 holders. But when we look at the wallets that have at least 4 tokens or $100 worth of the token, then the number is already dropping to 241,000. So roughly 2/3 of the holders have less than $100 worth of the token. Now let's go another 10x, so that's now $1,000 worth of the token. Then we cut the number again by roughly 80%. So only 8% of the holders on chain have more than $1,000 worth of the Trump token after this price drop. So there's really no positive momentum at all. But let's have a look at the holders that really matter. So this is now the number of wallets that have 400 tokens. That's now $100,000 worth of the token, also going down pretty much every day. Then how many wallets hold $1 million worth of the token? That's roughly 1,000 wallets. So 1 out of 700. And then how many wallets hold 10 million worth of the token? That's only 200 wallets. The trend is pretty clear though, right? No matter if you're a small retail investor with just a few dollars worth of the token, or you've got millions and millions of the tokens, everybody tends to rather sell. Small retail isn't selling as quickly, right? There's still hopium involved, while the number of big whales went already down by 60%. Still, less than 1% of the token supply is held by wallets that have less than $100,000 worth of the token. This is still a very much whale concentrated token. And so here's a very interesting mismatch. The trading volume and the number of buyers and sellers on chain, on the Solana chain, continues to drop pretty much every day. The first day we had 500,000 traders of the token. Yesterday that was less than 10,000 traders and only 3,400 that bought the token the first time. The number of token transactions is also continuing to decline, and so is the trading volume in US dollars, but especially the trading volume that's triggered by the whales. So on the first day there was more than 8 billion worth of trading volume. Yesterday there was just a bit over 100 million of trading volume, and it's especially the whales and large retail that take up less and less of that trading volume. And so this is in stark contrast to the retail interest on YouTube. Have a look at the number of views for those Donald Trump tokens. 40,000, 35,000, 60,000 over here. It's more than 10,000. And have a look at other videos on this channel. It tends to be less than 10,000. So retail investors are still interested in the Trump token, even though they're not trading it, right? Most people simply just hold the token, hoping for a recovery. And so if you haven't bought in the very first hours when the token was launched, if you were late to the party, then you pretty much have seen now the worst side of crypto. Among the 100 largest cryptocurrencies in terms of market cap, the official Trump token performed the worst in the last week. It fell by more than 50%, much more than any other token across all of crypto in the top 100. And still, even after this massive drop, the official Trump token is more than double the size of the second largest meme coin on Solana. The official Trump token has a market cap of 5.2 billion. Bonk, which is number 2, has a market cap of 1.9 billion. Now, I believe that it's very likely that the Trump token will continue to stay the largest Solana meme coin for a while. I do not believe that it will fall below Bonk or below Pudgy Penguins. A lot of the selling pressure has already hit the market. Trump brought a lot of new value into Solana, right? A lot of people bought Solana and Solana related tokens, but because of the deflation of the official Trump token in the last week, it's also one of the worst performers in terms of total value locked across the larger chains. Now, here is the problem. Here is why most people get wrecked during times like this when everything is going down. The issue is most people only have a strategy for rising prices. When there's a bull market, the strategy tends to be, I'm just buying the trending altcoin and trying to make as much money from those rising trending altcoins as possible. But then the issue is, what happens when things turn around? What's really the strategy if we enter into a bear market? The problem is most people don't have a strategy and they simply just cling onto their altcoins, getting wrecked in the process. There's no real objectivity in the process. It's really important to have some kind of a plan, what to do and where to deploy the capital if things are not bullish, because there are ways to make money in bear markets. When Bitcoin is expensive, when stocks are expensive, when everything is expensive, there's, for example, the option to buy gold, right? After the dot-com bubble, gold outperformed regular stocks by almost 800%. So this is a gold relative to the S&P 500 chart. This is actually not what we associate with gold, right? With gold, we associate very low volatility, a very boring investment to just park the money to potentially protect against inflation. But it's not necessarily seen as an asset that can outperform during a bear market. But obviously, this relative valuation does matter. It's quite a bit of a move. And so if you're not too much invested emotionally, then you can potentially, when times are right, move into assets like this. Now, this is a very uncommon chart, right? Most people have never looked at gold relative to stocks. People just look at US dollar charts, and this is the problem. It's knowledge like this that I believe can give us a real market edge, because the US dollar is obviously devaluing over time, so everything tends to go up over time. But again, it's all about opportunity cost. And so have a look at this. This is a technical analysis course, and over here is one of the videos plotting relative valuation charts. In total, there are 26 videos in this course. And relative valuation charts are useful in all kinds of contexts, right? It's useful to compare gold to the S&P 500. It's also useful to compare an altcoin relative to Bitcoin. It's also useful to compare, say, an asset relative to the money supply to see, does this asset long-term actually outperform monetary expansion? But then there are also other strategies, right? Because most altcoins underperform Bitcoin most of the time. I believe that the bear markets are actually better opportunities to make money than bull markets. In bull markets, we have to find the precise few altcoins that concentrate all of the gains, and we have to exit quickly enough. In bear markets, actually in general, but especially in bear markets, most altcoins do worse than Bitcoin anyways. So we can simply bet on relative valuations going down. We can bet on an altcoin to do worse than Bitcoin. We are not betting on the US dollar price going down. We're just betting on the altcoin doing worse compared to Bitcoin. So for example, this is a position I had open for a long time. This is Balancer, so the Balancer token, that's a DeFi project relative to Bitcoin. And this underperformed very constantly under low volatility by now 98%. And that's, I believe, a very nice approach, right? Why does Balancer underperform that constantly? It's again what we see time and time again, right? It's token allocations to the insiders and to the team and to venture capitalists and maybe to users of the platform. So supply is growing and growing and growing. The demand isn't growing as quickly, and thus we see that underperformance. Now, it's important that this is relative valuations, that this is not just US dollar valuations, because the US dollar valuation of an altcoin, even during a bear market when we see a temporary rally, can of course go up, right? When Bitcoin goes up by 30%, then temporarily an altcoin can also go up by 20%, even if the supply expands. That's why the relative valuation makes so much sense. Because check this out, this is now Balancer relative to Bitcoin since 2023. And here is Balancer in US dollars since 2023. This is much more risky, right? This can go up by 100% if you time this not the right way. So I'm not saying that most altcoins go down all the time. I'm saying that most altcoins underperform Bitcoin most of the time. And so shorting altcoins is a pretty nice way to make money during a bear market as well. So we don't have to cling on that strategy to always buy the meme coins. And then when the market turns around, we keep on holding because we hope just that it continues a bit further. We can be objective about it because we also know a strategy to make money during bearish times. And so here's one of the explainer tutorials gaining from relative valuations, how to short Balancer and potentially long other assets at the same time. This is one of, I believe, 5 different videos on shorting. How can we select an asset that's worth shorting? What kind of parameters do we have to look at? How can we also then set up that short, right? What are the technical requirements? What platforms should we use? And all of that is part of the premium membership of this channel. There's more than 100 tutorial videos in total. Feel free to check it out. Of course, I'm also sharing my own trades in premium. So I've just closed my short of Ethereum relative to Bitcoin. I made some money with that as well. And when times turn bullish again, then of course it does also make sense to buy individual alts again. That's why we've got the individual chats on various altcoins as well. But again, right now it might make in some ways more sense to learn about strategies that are not that common, that can make us money while most other people don't make money. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $165 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, in case you don't learn anything, just message me within the first 7 days and I'll refund you 100%. There's really zero risk for you. And so here is then the big question, right? Does it make sense to buy low in order to sell high? Or will the dip keep dipping? Let's have a look. In theory, of course, there is still a lot of upside potential, even though the Trump token is the largest of the Solana meme coins. Across all blockchains, official Trump isn't really that large. Shiba Inu is more than double the size, and Dogecoin is more than 9 times the size. We also see how there has been quite a bit of a deleveraging, as in the trading volume on Binance isn't really that large, and on the perpetual futures market, we also don't see excessive trading anymore. The question is really, will the market as a whole turn around? Because we do need to see positive momentum across the altcoin sector for Trump to also recover. I do not believe that Trump will make an idiosyncratic rally while the rest is going down. And so what we see over here is the others dominance. So this is how much of all of crypto is in the altcoins that are not in the top 10. And it seems like there's some kind of a trading range. Those two lines are parallel to one another. And sometimes the altcoins rally, sometimes they don't do as well. And we might be bottoming out in the next week or two. We aren't yet completely depressed, but we're getting closer to that point. And so it's always hard to time the bottom perfectly, but I do believe at some point things will turn around. And so the best idea is probably to do the thing that's contrarian. Most people just hold Trump, they're not buying it right now. But since there's so much liquidity now moving back into the stable coins, and since the altcoins have underperformed that much recently, maybe this is the time to buy. I think the best approach is to buy in tranches. Again, because it's very hard to time the bottom. So to buy a little bit today and maybe a bit more 1 week from now if the price goes even lower, maybe a bit more in 2 weeks. So it's always about simply just accumulating when things are cheap. And then at some point, of course, those market makers will pump their bags again because they hold a lot of the Trump supply now. They don't just hold custody funds of customers. They also have funds for market making. And of course, more volatility means more price action, means more trading fees, means more profit for the centralized exchanges. So this price will not go down forever. At some point, the market makers will manipulate this up. And they will do this when the attention on the Trump token is the lowest. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video or see you in premium. Cheers.